Arizona underground hip hop king Mav has been doing his thing for well over 20 years in the game. From mic advancement, independent hustling, to In My Zone, and to now with the Purple EP. Dude has been carrying the torch for the Southwest in Arizona. And now he is ready to come back with some new music that is still bringing that familiar balance of commercial sound with that underground hip hop feel. You know what I'm saying? I had a chance to kick back, relax, and have a conversation about what he's got going on now, his plans, a little bit about the past and what made him the artist he is, and just talking about his writing style. Guys like Mav have been in this game and have laid it down, and they paved the way for the artists up and coming, whether they're small time or big time, man. It always takes the underground to pave that way. Yo, this is Off the Grid. Kick back, relax, and have a nice cold one, man, on this Sunday afternoon as me and Mav chop it up a little bit about something that we all love, hip-hop. Yeah, enjoy the ride, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. Now we can all get down, put your drink in the air. Fellas happy with shot, and ladies let down your hair. I got the sound that'll have the people bobbing their heads. Forget the 9 to 5, gonna play it again, cause it won't stop. It's all about the feeling inside. Another path on the journey of this hip-hop ride. If you're down, leave your drama.
All right, bro, let's try this again, y'all. The internet is playing games with me today. So I think we're good now, man. We're good, bro. How you good over there? You hear me? Everything okay? We're good.
Yeah, man. I hear you good, man.
All right, we're straight, man. We're straight. Hey, what is up, familia? Everybody out here, West Texas, Nuevo Mexico, North and South, and of course all my gente out there in Arizona. And I know I got a few of y'all that follow the show out there in Southern Califas, man. What is up, familia? I hope you guys are out there enjoying your Sunday, man. Chilling, staying cool up in this heat, man, that I know we're dealing with out here in Cruces. And of course, they're dealing with out there in Arizona. Speaking of Arizona, y'all, again, yeah, it is. It is, bro. It's that time of year, though. You know, we get used to it, learn to live with it, man. But hey, I want to thank Mr. Mav Sanchez himself. Mr. Mav, I talked about it earlier, bro. And now we had to come on, redo it again. And I'm going to say the same thing, man, that you need no introduction, man. You are a face, a spearhead of Southwest underground hip hop, and you've been doing it for so long, bro. You've had that door open. Now you're back. Now you're back, man. We talked about the itch earlier before we came on, man. Hey, Mav, thank you for being on the show this week, brother.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for having me, man. It's a blessing to even be able to do this. You know, a lot of us that ain't here that I'm doing this for can't make this round. You know what I'm saying? 20 years in the game, I'm still putting out albums. You know what I'm saying? It's a blessing, and I'm still just happy to still be inspired. You know what I'm saying? To still get the inspiration to make the music. You know?
Yeah, I hear that, man. It's you know, like I said, we were talking about it before we came on air. That you know, when music's in you, bro, you walk away for a little bit, but there's always that little itch that comes back. You know, it's one thing to be a music lover, like I tell people, but I tell them, you know, because everybody in their own way is like a big music lover. But when it's a whole different level, man, when you create music and you've got that passion for music, you know, music is, I'm sure it's the same with you, man. You probably got playlists you listen to every single day, you know, whether it's on your drive home or whatever. That's the way I am too. But every once in a while, man, you hear something, and like you said, you could still get inspired, and you're like, all right, you know what? I need to like pull out a piece of paper, jot this down before I forget these bars real quick, or something like that, man. What is it? You talked about still being able to be inspired. What is it like? How do you get inspired now? Is it something now for you that just it comes out of nowhere, or are you able to really sit down, force yourself to write some stuff? Excuse me, because I used to be able to do that. I can't do that no more. Now that's when my worst stuff comes out, when I try to force it. How does it work for you?
When it comes to the process for making music, I mean, when I left the game in 2017, even in like 2015 and 2016, I wasn't doing too much. I was making a few songs here and there, and then 2017 came, and then I just didn't write for years. I mean, and I couldn't even force myself to make music. And I don't know, man. It was like, you know, there was a few life events that happened. You know, I lost my dad, and then I was just trying. I was self-employed, so I had more time. So just a few different things that switched in my life. that was like, oh, okay, now I got a little more time. And I did try to come back once, and it was like maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and it just didn't work out. Like I couldn't get there. It was hard. It was really hard. But what's crazy is like, once I was able to write the first song, like it just started coming, and I mean, I swear I have almost like 100 songs done since the beginning of 2004, 2024, and they're all about to come out. I just put out the first EP, which is only 4 songs, just kind of like a taste, you know what I'm saying? And the inspiration's back, you know what I'm saying? And now when it comes to writing, I write songs still. I will go in the studio, you know what I'm saying, and make a song on the spot. That's cool. I like that. I could do that. I could record 2 bars at a time, but I prefer to take my time and think about everything that I say. And I think that's why people will say like, "Oh, Mav's a dope rapper." It's because I take my time and I say everything, and then I'll even record a song and analyze it and rewrite lyrics sometimes to the song. So I just try to make it my best effort every time I put something out. And sometimes people like it, sometimes people don't. I'm just glad that people still fuck with me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear that, man. I hear that. Sometimes you just don't know because the music is changing. And of course, with each generation, hip hop's changed a little bit. But I feel like once you got your style in, man, you can kind of mold it to kind of fit in with what's going on today, but without actually changing anything about what makes you true to your music. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
obviously the music for people like us, by the way, y'all, this I'm gonna brag a little bit, but right now y'all are looking at a couple of Southwest hip hop kings right here, y'all. So talking some music right here, man, this is something I love. So I want to go back to, I mean, just give me your beginning, bro. You now I don't Are you originally from Arizona? If not, what brought you out there? Give me a little bit of your background, man, so that we understand when we're listening, to Mav's music. We're listening to Rainy Days, which is one of my favorites. It's We know where it's coming from.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm originally born and raised in Chicago, you know, um, and I live there with my mom. My mom raised me and my 2 sisters, so single mom raising 3 kids, and
I know exactly
we
how
we
that is,
lived
bro.
we
Yeah.
lived on multiple sides, multiple parts of Chicago. I was always in Chicago though, like wherever we went, it was always in the city, and I never left, and that's why I came to Arizona because I just felt trapped. There comes a point in your life where you're just like, damn, shit ain't going good right now. So that was when I was like, okay, all right, ASU is not very hard to get in. I mean, I think that I'm very intelligent. I just don't love school, but like I was able to get into ASU and come out here, and I did a few semesters there, and and then I just went full time into music. Is really what happened. I just started like making music out here, and and it just became my thing. It's like I um I've loved music my whole life though. Like in Chicago, was the beginning of it though. Like my sister was a singer. She had like a hit single. She was signed when
Oh,
she was like 18 to like a rapper out there in Chicago named M Doc, who all the people out there know, like Twista knows. That's a guy that everyone out there in Chicago knows, and he had some singles on the radio out there, and then he signed my sister, and she had a single on the radio, so she would take me to her shows, and I would get to see like Do or Die and Twista, and I was like 13 or 14, so I always wanted to be in the game, but I can't sing. You know what I'm saying? My sister could sing, but what I love was like writing. You know what I'm saying? And then like Wu Tang came around, and I used to love Wu Tang, so like I started writing just hip hop shit. I used to love Nas and Scarface, the Ghetto Boys. I did a Big Mike, you know what I'm saying, the down south shit, um, just the beginning stages of like when I was writing. That was kind of what I was listening to, those type of things. Um, Even the West Coast, obviously Dr. Dre and Snoop, the Chronic and shit like that,
yeah,
and
yeah.
uh,
And
and
what
then
what is
so
it? Sorry, what age did you actually come out to the Southwest from Chicago?
I think I was 18. No, I think I was
Okay.
19. I was 19 because I wasn't doing stuff for a while. I was just fucking around in Chicago, and we were just causing trouble, and so it was like, okay, I had to do something with my life. So that was what I had to do.
A lot
Yeah.
of people
So
don't realize all how rich kind of hip hop like the scene has been out there. Artists that have come out of Chicago that a lot of people don't even realize. Of course, you talked about Twista,
no,
the
yeah.
George I. Common's one of my favorites to come out of Chicago. Now, were you a fan of Common?
Oh yeah, of course. I think that Common definitely inspired me. Most of my I lived on the north side too, but most of my time was spent on the south side.
Yeah.
And that one point before, Kanye came out, Common was like the biggest south side rapper, you know what I'm saying? And Twista and Do or Die and the Brat, they're all West Side. They were the West Side was killing it, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
Common was like holding it down for the South Side until like Kanye came around. And Lupe's West Side too. Lupe, I used to bump him all the time, his first album. And
Wow.
Kanye when he
Okay.
came out. I was a big fan of them. All these people just grew up on the same streets that I grew up on, and it's just crazy. Like the scene, we supported it a lot out. We would support it a lot out there. You'd be like, damn, I'm gonna buy whoever comes out in Chicago. We're buying their album. Is it the new R. Kelly album? I know that's probably crazy to say now, but whoever's dropping, whoever's dropping the new album from Chicago, we're supporting, right? The new Kanye album,
Yeah.
the new Lupe album, the new Common album. There was a time where it was going ham. So that inspired me a lot, and I wanted to be part of that. And Latinos in Chicago, it's tough. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the scene for Latinos. I know there's some guys grinding. Los Marihuanos are from there. He's from out. They rep from out there. But besides
Yeah.
that, there wasn't many like Latinos coming out of Chicago. I recorded my first album. Uh, I recorded my first songs in Chicago. Like when I first started recording, it was in like Little Village with my homie, which is like a Mexican neighborhood out there. You know what I'm saying? It's the Mexican neighborhood. There's a few. There's Pilsen. I live close by Pilsen. I used to live right by Pilsen. And so it's just like the culture for us was big, and we loved hip hop, and we wanted to be part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we wanted to also have our part in it. And I think when I came to Arizona, I just felt like I got a chance to make my own way out here and create something, because at that time, it was more about like love rap, and MB Riders were the biggest thing in '99 when I came out here. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I was like, let me, and I created a whole like a lyrical scene out here, and it spread it through. I feel like throughout the whole Southwest. I didn't create it, but I was part of one of the people who were like the spearheads of like, I would even call it like Chicano hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like we're street, we're real, but it's like there's a creativeness about it. There's a part of about us where we want to make stuff that, not the same stuff every song. Like be creative every time we
Yeah.
come out. You know what I'm saying? And reach new levels in terms of like different rhyme styles, different rhyme patterns, different bars, like that are more than just simple. So it's like it was a task that I wanted to take on. So when I came out here, I was all about battling. In Chicago, I was always battling and that's how I came up, just battling everybody. And out here, that's what we did too. So like, I won a bunch of battles on the radio out here, and that kind of helped me in like 2005, 2004. And I think I won 10 in a row or something like that on
Man.
Power 92 or something like that. And
Yeah, man. That's dope. So so you kind of came up on the battle scene out there then out there in Phoenix. That do you feel like that played a big hand in kind of your status now as I mean you're highly respected, especially in the underground scene in an area like Phoenix, where there's just man, y'all got so much talent out there. There's a lot of artists doing things, not even just Phoenix, Tucson, everywhere out there in Arizona, and your name has been able to stand out. You know what I mean? It's been able. You talk to people from out there, everybody's like, oh yeah, yeah, we know who Mav are, and it's all respect. Do you feel like it was kind of the battle scene that kind of gave you that respect in the for the from the underground?
you know, that was from the underground. Yeah, 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 exactly. Because when I first came out here, I lived on the east side, and and the underground scene on the east side was thriving. They had like the Blunt Club, and there was a bunch of cool artists that were coming out back then. So shout out to all them. And then I came up, you know, and I would be like, damn, these dudes are dope, and they're getting love for like real hip hop. You know, it wasn't like Latinos though. It'd be like white dudes or like some, you know, some black dudes. And so I was like, man, I gotta step in, you know what I'm saying? And then also another dope like thing was like Soul Camp. My group Soul Camp is kind of, I would say they also helped me gain recognition, because Soul Camp was way bigger than Mav was at one point. Like Mav was just an underground rapper trying to find his way, and I had just dropped my first album called Mic Advancement.
Yeah.
And then I met these guys. I mean, I had known these guys before. We were doing shows together, and then there was just a point where we wanted to like make a group, Soul Camp. And like you said, man, I think that's what got me the most respect was Soul Camp, being part of them, and forming that brotherhood, and becoming just like, that's when we started getting big shows, you know what I'm saying? With Soul Camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what you may be, and I'm back again with Soul Camp. The whole fam is back to win. Your program's host with the most from coast to coast. International dope man, about to crush it like a coke can. The SOL Commandos, Supreme Team Sopranos. From grams to keys like pianos. In the streets, people camo. Before the baby Yoda memes, round the time of shoulder leans, we were the coldest Latino team when we rose on the scene.
Talk about Soul Camp now, man. Like, you know, of course, you got SOL Music, you got Soul Camp. And I mean, obviously, this is going back, you know, I mean, well over a decade. You know, you're talking
Yeah.
like 20
Yeah,
years and
20
stuff,
years,
man.
man. Like I said,
Yeah.
05 is when Soul Camp started. It's like the 20-year anniversary, basically, right now, of the beginning of Soul Camp. You know what I'm saying? I'm an OG in the game. You know what I'm saying? Even
Yeah.
even in 2025, I wasn't a teenager. I was already in my young 20s. So with that being said, Soul Camp was started by Brian Stacks. You know,
B
it was
Stacks.
his
Shout out to B
idea.
Stacks, man. Yeah.
He's from El Paso. He's right around the block from you. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
man,
So
so he's all right. He's right down the
yeah,
street from
Chuco
here. All
Town.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Respect,
Yeah, he's from
respect. What
yeah.
up to B Stacks, man? All right.
So he moved out to Arizona like I did around the same time. I think he's the closest in age to me. And then he, you know, started doing his thing. And then I think he got a collab with me and Skunk One. Skunk One. We did one
Mhm.
song together, and then from there we're like, oh man, this is dope. Let's make a group. I remember it was Halloween 2025, and then we became a group that day. And then for the next 3 years, man, we did a lot of shows. Um, Man, I mean, we just got a lot of love. I mean, we opened up for Little Rob, Baby Bash, Pitbull, um, you know, Kilo, you know, before he even made Lean Like a Cholo. I mean, just everybody, bro, like MC Magic, MB Riders, you know what I'm saying? We did like car shows with the Dub Car Show with like 20,000 people. And at the end in like 2008, that's when we broke up. Our last show was 2008, and we opened up for Wu-Tang. So that was the last show we did as a group
Wow.
together, was Wu-Tang.
That's
And
that's a hell of a way to go out, man. Hey,
yeah, it was,
that's a
I
hell of a way
mean,
to go
so it's
out.
like I always remember that show because of that, because that, like I was telling you earlier, that was like one of my heavily influenced people that influenced me in the game. So being able to finally open up for them and meet them all backstage and chill with them all backstage. I mean, that was a dope experience. I'll never forget. You know what I'm saying? ODB had already passed away. So it was, but everyone else was there, you know, besides ODB. I bet that would have
Yeah.
been even more crazy if ODB was
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Well, they were just out there, right? They're kind
Yeah,
of closing up a
they just
final
did their
tour.
last tour. So like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I
My
just
brother was
posted
out for that.
my top 10 groups of all time, and Wu-Tang's number one. You know, I didn't get to go to that tour, but still, nonetheless, it influenced me the most. You know, Wu-Tang out of all groups,
Yeah.
with NWA in a close second, because NWA was like at the beginning of
Yeah.
my. I wasn't rapping yet. I was only like 8 or 9 when I was listening to NWA. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We was listening to some
Yeah.
crazy shit. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
That's
Uh,
me, man. I think Straight Outta Compton was like the first rap album I ever owned, and I was probably like 11 years old, man. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But my music, of course, was influenced by other artists. I feel like and I maybe this is just me, but I feel like a lot of artists when people try to say, well, they sound like this person or that person, it's not always intentional. I think it's pretty standard that any artist that influences you we unknowingly kind of our style kind of matches theirs a little bit. And I've heard this said from, a lot of legends and stuff that it's just when you're influenced by a certain artist. Like a lot of people with me, I listened to a lot of Lighter Shade of Brown when I was younger, rapping and stuff, doing writing. And now that's what I get told. It's like, man, you like they'll listen to Lighter Shade of Brown and they'll be like, dude, that sounds like you. And I'm like, because they influence my sound a lot. Whereas Young MC influenced me to want to write. He was real witty with all his wordplay, everything like that. But it was NWA who actually wanted me to get me to listen to rap because of what they were talking about. So, do you
Yeah.
do you have different influences like that, or is it mostly like you're saying Wu-Tang was just that overall influence?
No, I mean Wu Tang is my favorite group, but I think I was influenced more by a few solo rappers. Probably, I would say that um, you know, I would say that Nas, Jay Z, DMX, um, Big Pun.
Mm,
Um, I mean, even some of the current rappers now, like J Cole, Kendrick, all these people have an influence because when I stopped making music in 2017, I just became a fan of music. So I was
yeah,
listening to everything from 2017 to 2024. I was listening to all the hottest shit. So that's when I started listening to more Migos and shit. You know what I'm saying? Just everyone out there. But in terms of the beginning, it was basically like I said, Nas, um, even Snoop, man. I used to bump Snoop all the time, but like influence, I mean, even Cypress Hill, I used to bump all the time. Psycho Realm was a big influence because like that's crazy. Like I know Psycho Realm was an LA group, but like when you grow up in Chicago and you grow up in like the Latino neighborhoods out there, and it just feels like Psycho Realm was like an anthem. It just that's what you like. Damn, it feels like this is what I should be listening to type shit. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like,
yeah,
so
yeah.
when I first got Psycho Realms album, I was like, I don't know who these guys are, you know what I'm saying? But I used to bump the shit out of them. So that's a big influence too. Um, and
Now,
then
has any of your influences like changed with each album? Like I know, like let me give you an example for me. Usually when I'm working on a certain album, man, I'm listening to a lot of one or two artists, whether it's rap, whether it's even with country music. I listen to a lot of country because the storytelling is just so good. I always tell a lot of trying to up and coming artists, like, man, help me with my storytelling. I'm like, listen to some country music.
yeah,
It'll help you out a little bit. But and I mean, like a few years back when I did my letter to hip hop, I was listening to a lot of Nas at that time. This last album I was listening to a lot of Rakim in terms of the writing. Is this something that goes down with you when you're working on each album? Is your headspace always in a different place in terms of your creativity?
no, I think that what I've learned to do, like when I said I made 100 songs, what I've learned to do is just what I'm feeling at the moment, I'll make those songs and then eventually like it'll form an album for that style. Like if I make enough songs for that type of beat. But I am
Yeah,
influenced to an extent. Like I knew that I wanted my songs to be bass heavy and to be like real gritty and almost like so yeah, I am influenced by the beats of today. But in terms of my rhyme style, I you always know it's Mav. It's like Zigzag from MB Riders, that's the homie. Shout out to Zigzag. He was
yeah.
like,
Shout out to Zig. Yeah,
hearing your voice is like hearing an instrument, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't hear that instrument for 7 years and the instrument is back. So it's like my voice is always gonna be the specific instrument, but like what I rap over the beat style is what changes. So like you said, I am influenced by the beat styles at the time. But my rhyme style, I do try to change the styles too, but like for the most part, it's always me in my flow, and the only thing that is influence is usually like the beat style. So like I'm making my first album to like this style. I don't know if you've heard some of the songs off of it. I did one with Willie North Pole, and then I did one the other song with Romero, Smoke Signals, where it's just kind of like a chill style. It's like a different style, but you have to check it out. But yeah, I'm definitely
yeah,
influenced by beats, you know what I'm saying, and what's going on at the time. I don't want to be stuck uh with like, production that nobody cares about. You always got to
yeah.
try and stay current with what people want to hear.
Yeah, that's true. And I think a lot of the bashing that modern hip hop has gotten, at least commercially, is the fact that it's become very production heavy. You got the tight beat, but there's no content in the lyrics. And I think we're starting to see a change of that. A lot of this next generation coming up, we're starting to see a lot of lyricists now coming back. You know, lyricism is coming back to it. Do you when you're hearing a tight beat, man, and you're like, man, like if you're like me, I'm like, okay, I got to do the beat justice. You know, I'm not just gonna let the beat carry me like a lot of these dudes have done. I kind of take it as a challenge to say, all right, now what's my concept for this? What am I feeling lyrically? I mean, I'll go like you were talking about earlier with your writing process. I'm like that too, man. I'll go and edit. Like I'll edit it quite a bit, man, until I feel like boom, I
Yeah.
got it. And then I'm ready to record it, perform it. What are some of the challenges, if there's any? Do you see any challenges? I shouldn't say challenges, but the differences between you talked about being a battle rapper as opposed to when you're actually having to lay down some songs, like write you a song, whether it's a, you know, back in the day we were doing a lot of 16 bar verses. Now a lot of people, because of attention spans, is down to 12 bars. I still do a 16 bar. But I've told a lot of people, like, if they're just battle rappers or they can freestyle off the top of the head, I tell them, go write that stuff down, man. Format it, learn how to format it into a song, because not everybody can come off the top and make it a hit. You know what I mean? It takes a special kind of skill to do that. Do you what are some of the big differences or challenges, if any, when you first started getting your stuff into song format as opposed to what you were used to doing in battle rap off the top of the head?
Man, you're talking about a long time ago, 2005. I mean, I think like the original challenge was like in 2000 and 1997 when I was recording on just like a Walkman, and you would have to, anyways, by the time I recorded in 2005, I was already putting hooks on songs
Okay.
and
Okay.
making them the right way. I guess the biggest difference today is, like you said, the attention span is shorter. So like all songs were like 4 verses on my old album, 3, 4, 3 verses. I'm always writing 3 verses to every
That's me.
song
That's me
in
too. I feel you.
2005. You know what I'm saying? And then that's a big difference. Is I even have some songs where I'm like, okay, it's 2 minutes and 30 seconds with one long verse and two long hooks. Well, then we're just gonna leave it at that. So like the songs are shortened up. You know, you got to play the rules of the game. Like like Spotify and Apple won't let you mention more than like 3 artists and get them on their page. So if you have too many people on the song, it won't. The people won't even get tagged. So like things like that change. I don't have big songs with a lot of features on it. I try to keep that to a minimum just to kind of play the game right and make sure everyone gets credit and it shows up with everyone that I collab with. So I change in that aspect. Songs are shorter in terms of like I do find myself like when I made 100 songs, I have a whole group of like 10, 12 songs where I'm like not good enough. You know what I'm saying? Like you listen to them and you're like, damn, I was rapping slow, or damn,
Yeah.
I didn't have anything, and there's no enthusiasm. So I do challenge myself, like I'm only keeping the best shit. Like I'm only keeping the best of the best that I put out. And sometimes I'll rewrite a whole verse if it ain't good enough, or if I wrote the beat weird, you know what I'm saying? I'll fix it. So I make sure that in the end it's the best that I could do, and then just live with the results. But yeah, the shorter songs, and now, I've had people tell me like, damn man, you used to rap way more intense when you first started in 2005. So if you listen to Mike Advancement, a lot of people
Yeah.
showed me love because I was still coming off battle rapping. I was still writing 2 bars, 4 bars a day, just my best 4 bars, put it on a notepad, come back the next day. Four of my tightest bars. Or sometimes I would write 300 bars and only keep the 16, or you know what I'm saying, just something crazy like that. And now it's like everything is something. So like I don't really delete much as much. And now there's also a big difference from writing on notepads for years to your phone. Like the thought process, you delete a lot of thoughts on your phone,
Yeah.
whereas the notepad, everything stayed. So you might be able to be like, damn, I guess that was a tight bar, I'll come back to that. But it's too late when you delete it on your phone. So those are a
Yeah.
few differences that you have now. So you got to mean what you say, and then just roll with it. So a lot of, I don't have as, and I think that is kind of a difference, is like everything, nothing's wasted. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how long I'm gonna be on this earth, so I'm just putting out everything that's dope, and I'm gonna fix it until I think it's perfect, and then put it out. You know what I'm saying? But I do
Yeah.
challenge myself, like you said, like if I have a whole folder of songs that you'll never hear because I just don't think it's good enough for everybody.
Yeah. I think you would agree with me when I say that, as songwriters, we are like we're our biggest critics, obviously, but man, we are perfectionists. I can listen to
Yeah.
something and I'm like, man, I am not digging it. I don't like it. I don't like it. And other people are telling me, no, it's dope. It's dope. And I'm like, nah, man, you hear that bar right there? Like that bar, I should have dragged out the last word, or I should have emphasized, little things like that other people don't see or hear, I should say. So you kind of feel like that as well. Like you are your biggest critic, maybe unfairly at times, but we hear it
Oh, for
different,
sure.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my engineer, we've we've been working on our mixing and mastering and recording. So the thing that we worked on the recording is fixing those errors on the spot and not going home with that error. So we're going home with less errors because we're just paying more attention. We're gonna record the whole verse, and then we're gonna punch in that word again. Just if we gotta fix one word, like don't go home with it like that. So we've been getting better at that. That's like something we've been working on conscientiously. Like we're trying our best to like get it all done, and then finding mistakes when we listen to it. So, that was something that I would go home with in the past, and I wouldn't put out a song if it had one mess up. I'm like, this song will never hear the light of day. And it was just like one miss, like I said a word wrong, or
Yeah,
sometimes you'll say a bar and be like, damn, you know what, that wasn't the right thing. You're like, oh shit, that didn't make sense, whatever, and then you just never the song never comes out. So I'm making sure that's a point now. That's something that we've been working on.
It's getting so hot out on the block, that's when funerals pop. Jumped out of them boys shots, some of them win, most of them lost. I'm hoping that some will win. Already I lost a couple friends, already I shared a couple tears. Up on the blocks we hustled in, some of the snakes they made it out, some of the best they dead and gone. I could send threats to kill, but stress will kill, so I move on. We taking them losses, damn that shit cost, and now he's stuck in the coffin. No morals evolve when picking them off, mothers is clutching them crosses. She crying and praying, dying and laying, hoping the cops is gonna solve it. I seen that shit once, seen that shit twice, damn, I seen it too often. Parents is working and providing, but these parents ain't talking. Or is it a chain? Family bangs, you shooting or you'll be a target. Looking for action, never no lacking. Hitters hitting like Madden, cause of the madness, causing the sadness. Damn, we never gon' manage. Writing these verses, hoping it works, is putting hope in a person. Cause killers are murking, bodies in hearses, families praying in churches.
Yeah. Like if you record at like an expensive studio and you're paying, $50 an hour, $100 an hour, it's hard to do that. But when you work with like a team, and we're all trying to make it the best, and that's another thing, when you work with a team that I'm working with, we're just
yeah,
all trying to be the best together. So it's like, my engineer's best will make my song better, which will make more people listen to it, which will get him more business, and it just works
yeah,
out for all of us.
yeah, yeah. I mean, well said, well said. Especially like there's challenges when you're working with a group, like you talk about with Soul Camp, because a lot of groups don't end up making it, either being underground or even they don't last long in the mainstream because of creative differences. So for y'all to be able to make it go as long as you did, man, I give y'all respect for that. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why I never really got with a group, because I'm very single-minded with what I want to do with my music. And I said I'm not going to put myself in a situation or anybody else, but for you to be able to do that, man, I give you respect for that. And you talked about a few names of people that you've worked with outside of Soul Camp. I mean, you talked about Zig, of course. What up to Zig? You talk Snow the Product, and of course Romero, just to name a few. What are some of your most, either I should say your personal favorite or most memorable kind of songs that you've worked with certain artists?
I think the song I got with Do or Die was dope. They came out
Yeah.
here. I think we did a 3-day tour, three
Now is
cities,
that
two
that's
songs.
you talking about the
It was a
Chi-Town to AZ?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
called well, now you made me forget. It's AZ to Chi Town. There you go.
AZ
It's
to
AZ to
Chi-Town.
Chi
I had
Town.
it backward, bro.
Yeah,
I
I
I
was like,
dig
wait,
that
wait,
one.
wait, what is it
Yeah,
again?
I
It's
dig
Mav
that one.
featuring Do or Die, AZ to Chi Town. And we did a tour, and then they came in the studio and recorded. So we were chilling with them all weekend, and so that was cool, and that, because that, like I said, coming from Chicago, that was like a group that I idolize, and still to this day they're my top favorite groups of all time. And they still put out music. They're still Twisted,
Yeah,
still doing stuff. They're coming out here on tour, like they working hard. So shout out to them. So that was a memorable experience. Recording this album with Romero has been memorable, man. Romero, like, I'm like,
Man, it's good to see
usually
him
I'm
back
most
in the game, man. It's good to see him back too. Yeah.
yeah, I've been trying to get at him to try and get in the studio, and he just had he wasn't feeling it either for a while, like me. But sometimes you take some time off, but he hasn't taken much time off. But anyways, but we finally got him in the studio, and we had several sessions, and we got a 13-song album, and like I said, it's with he to me, I'm like the guy that I'm he's the better MC, so I'm just like I'm the guy that's just trying his best to stick around on this. Usually I'm like it's my own lane and I'm dominating, but it's great to work with another presence who's amazing, you know what I'm saying, and talented, and can do more than just rap. He could sing and all this shit. You didn't even know he could sing, and he's like, I was like, you could sing? He's like, yeah, I can sing. Wait, what the hell, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
we're making a classic album. The Mav of Metal album is going to be super dope. So those are two, things. I think anytime I record with Soul Camp, so Soul Camp, like I said, was 2005 and 2008. We were a group. Then we broke up, and then Mav became Mav. I did my own thing for years, and then Soul Camp just got back together in 2024, and then we put out we put out 2 videos since then, and we're doing like a 6-song EP. It's already done. I mean, we're mixing it, but um, you know, that's just something that working with them is another big thing that every time we do music together, it's like it's big. It's big. It always helps me, and it always helps the members of the group to, like, springboard and promote their music. And
Yeah.
right now we're older, and we got kids that are older. Our kids are becoming adults, and my kids are already adults, and their kids are becoming adults. So we don't have the time that we used to have, like back in 2005 to 2008. We were going to every show all weekend, everybody mad at us because all we cared about was music. Now we do it because we love it. Now we do it
That's it.
because we never put out an album. We put out like 2 mixtapes when Soul Camp was together. We were working on an album, and it never actually finalized. So this time we're trying to make sure it comes out, even if it's 20 years later. You know what I'm saying? Like, still trying to put it out. So those are 3 memorable working experiences that I have. And the Romero album, the team that I'm talking about, Soul Camp, we record separately, but me by myself, my team is my homie Adrian. He's my engineer, Adrian Mancia, and BD Beats. He's my producer, Michael Patterson. So that's the team that, like, we come together with all my music and make it. And then we add Romero. So now we got Mav and Metal to BD Beats and recording at our studio with Adrian. So, the teamwork is the dream work. And those are all memorable experiences, man. All those people are amazing artists that I work with in person.
This work, excuse me, this work you're doing with Romero. When y'all looking to kind of finish that up, man, and get it out to the masses for us? Because
Yeah, I mean, we just put out the
Romero's a guy.
first
I'm looking
single.
forward to this, man. As I could say, because I'm a fan of you. Been a fan of Romero for a long time, man. Of course, being here in New Mexico, so that's why I'm asking, man. A lot of love out here.
Yeah, for sure, man. I think that it's done. Like I said, we recorded the 13 tracks. I'm mixing it. I'm gonna actually go to the studio later today and work on some mixing. I mean, I'm thinking it's gonna come out this summer. I mean, like, I'm thinking end of July or August. And we already put out the first single, which was "Smoke Signals." And I encourage everybody to make a video of y'all smoking, to it. It doesn't have to be weed. You could be smoking barbecue, or I don't know. You could show your car. You could show your
Yeah.
fucking engine on fire. Fucking smoke signals. You know. Hey, but I encourage y'all to make videos to that song. And I think that album, to me, it's like, I can't think of many MCs that are better than us two in the Chicano rap game or Chicano hip hop game. You know what I'm saying? And I think that it was a blessing to do this album, and we're gonna do more work anyways. But, like, this might be the start of, like, maybe 2 or 3 albums with us together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Depending on what the fans feel. I mean, even Romero said, "Hey, whatever they take to, we just make more of it." You know what I'm saying? So, like, if the fans love it, we'll make more of it. If you guys hate it, maybe it's the last album. But I think, no, I know you guys are gonna love it because,
Yeah.
hey, man, we got people playing guitar on it, we got DJs on it, we got people singing on it. We got, like, West Coast beats, we got down South beats, we got Southwest beats. I think it's like a real dope Southwest album, and Romero's from New Mexico and
Mhm.
Las Vegas, so he's repping out there, and I'm from Chicago and I'm AZ, so we're just repping, um, you know, everybody,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
from all
Couple,
over.
couple Southwest Kings linking up, man. I dig it. I dig it. So, talk to me a little bit about the Purple EP, man. You just put this out
Oh yeah.
not long ago. It's dope, dope. I've added it to every one of my daily playlists, man. How did this one come together?
So the Purple EP is like I linked up with my homie from France. His name's a Little Rooster. He's a producer that I used to work with back in the days. And then when I came back, I hit up a few producers that I knew, like, hey man, you know, I'm back. You know, guess who's back? You know, send me some shit. You know. So he sent me some beats, and the first batch he sent me was like real commercial. And then like because he had just finished coming off he was on tour for 8 years in Europe with this one famous guy named Gregorio, I think his name is, and he's like a French rapper out there. You know what I'm saying? So they were on tour for 8 years straight, and he's like, I need to like make music again instead of just touring. You know what I'm saying? So he
Yeah,
started. Anyways, he sent me that first batch of commercial stuff because probably he was touring with a guy who was like a commercial artist. But then he started sending me these underground grimy beats, and uh, and then once I recorded a few of those, you know, we're like, man, let's put this out. Like, and I just want to let people know out the gate, you know, we're just coming out, you know, with lyrics, you know what I'm saying? Just coming out with bars, you know. And I'll get to the commercial shit later, but I just want to let y'all know Mav is still like still giving it to him, and that's the beats that I feel the most. I know if you look up my most listened to songs, those songs aren't usually my most listened to songs, but I enjoy making them the most because each one was like a different topic, right? You know, I had a song called Purple Skies where, you know, I'm just everything purple, and then I had a song about like rap villain, naming all the different villains, bars, and then a song about like wrestling, WWE, and then the last song is just with 6 syllables and Romero, and that one is No Streets is Exempt. So that one just like it just bars, you know what I'm saying? So I think those 4 songs all like complemented each other, you know what I'm saying? So that's the beginning of of what's gonna come, you know, the next few years. I've been releasing singles, so I
yeah.
got a lot of singles out there, but this was the first, you know, group of songs that I put out.
So tell me something, bro. Few years back, like you're talking about, many years ago, man, you guys were hitting the road a lot. You were doing shows everywhere, a lot of things like that, man. All about the music, 7 days a week. Now we're a little bit older, and you're coming back, and you're gonna get some new music out there. Is that something you got the time and energy to do now? Like, because you used to be, man, you were on the grind. Like I said, 7 days a week. I
Yeah.
used to see you following you on social media, man, and you guys were
Yeah.
always on it. It's a little different now, though.
You know, because at that there was a time where you could live off of music and selling CDs at the swap meets and going to different
Yeah.
swap meets and different CDs, make several $100s a day. Anyway, so we were just living off of it for years, and then it was it wasn't that the game changed. I mean, it did, but like it was just me kind of stopping making music. So at this point in my career, I think I'm gonna work harder in the studio and just put out more music than anything. Touring, I could do touring, but like I'm not gonna do it. Like you said, we're older. I'm I just love making music, and I'm gonna stick to what I love doing, which is making the music. Making videos is dope too. You know, I want to get creative with some cool videos, and I'm taking some time off videos because I felt like the videos some of them were creative and dope, and then some of them weren't as creative. So I'm like, let me think of some real ass ideas, and then I'll come back. But anyways,
Yeah.
I enjoy the music and I enjoy the art of making videos. You know, and I don't think I'll tour as I don't think I'll do that. But I would love to do shows in like the Southwest with Romero. I think we do plan on doing a tour, but it's gonna be like every other weekend we'll go somewhere else. It won't be like 7 days a week touring. It'll be like, okay, this weekend we'll hit up Las Cruces and Albuquerque on Friday and Saturday, and then next weekend we'll hit up, you know, Cali on Friday and Saturday. So that's more of what I'm looking to do this time around. And obviously if it ever got big enough, then I'd be ready. But in terms of like the way the music was in the past, where you get the love but not the the
The
bank,
recognition. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
then I'll just be in it to just make it, and it's fine. I came to make music because I love it. I didn't come for any other reason. You know what I'm saying? But
Hear
the whole
that. Tell me.
touring crazy thing, that's I got stuff going. I got a business. You see, I be selling shoes and shit. That's one of
Yeah,
my businesses. Grind Kings Kicks. So there's just a lot. I got family, and like I said, I got adult kids. But the kids are almost grown and can take care of themselves. So I don't worry about my kids as much. They're very self sufficient. But other than
yeah.
that, it's still like I got my girl. I want to take care of her. I want to take care of my family.
What I've been through. I know it's hard, I've been on this long road I'm trying to get through. See, there were times I needed you, and you weren't there for me. When I lost you, I lost it, I never got my clarity. I went to therapy, they said I'm sad about the love I never got. Damn, that put me in a tough spot. I did this song for you. No, wait, I did this song for me. My family argued at your funeral, we no longer speak. I mean, some of us do, but it'll never be the same. Once a shame, but now I'm honored that we share the same name. I told them don't call me Junior because of the resentment. I was the man of the house at the age of 7. Had run-ins with the cops, and my dad will blame my moms. In my mind, I blame you, cause we never had a bond, but I was wrong. It was my fault all along. Needed to look in the mirror, needed to be more strong. So I moved to Arizona, no family or friends. Had to prove to myself that I could be my own man, and I am. When I was young and you left me all alone, Dad, I missed you.
The game has really changed though, in terms of like you were talking about. You used to be able to go out on the street, even have your street team, hustling, moving units, stuff like that. Whereas now everything, man, is streamed. You got the Spotify and Apple Music and Amazon Music that everybody's using to stream. So even with me, when I just did this last album, I was like, I wasn't even gonna order CDs, but I had people hit me up like, "Hey man, I want to get a signed CD from you when this one's done." And I was like, "All right,
Yeah.
man." I had enough that it was like, okay, I think I can at least put an order in and stuff. But it really has changed, man, in terms of the streaming and stuff. Do you? I've always been one of these people that feels that artists really have to fight, man, for a lot of these royalties, especially there was a lot going on with Spotify,
Yeah.
because how they were like paying out the least to artists. But the problem with that is Spotify is the one that's most common for people to use, man. How do you yourself look to manage everything, all your music on these streaming platforms? You're like me, I use CD Baby. I saw you, remember a couple weeks ago, a while back, you
Yeah.
posted complaining about CD Baby. I had some issues with them. And that, I think that's the problem though with streaming like this, man, is that we got to really depend on a distributor out there to do this for us.
Yeah, that is true. CD Baby got bought out by I forgot what record label, but they got bought out by a record label, and then so now they're not as for the independent artists as they used to be. So
Yeah.
they're making you like pay more money to even get any kind of customer service from them. But if you don't, so what happened with me is like I sent them a message like, "Hey, my album's not on Apple Music." Well, it has like an automated system for people who don't pay. Every like 2 weeks, it'll just say a message, and it'll be like, "Hey, man, we didn't get to your message." Well, you know what? If you want us to reply, start this whole process over. So it'll
Yeah.
send you in that process. That's crazy, right? And it does nothing.
Yeah.
So I've sent it like 3 or 4 times, and
Yeah.
they haven't
And
helped.
you're
So
right. You're right. I actually, with this last album, when I submitted it, put it all in, I did. I paid, it was like 20, 25 bucks extra. Yeah. And you have to pay for it. And it says, so that way you're put to the front of the line whenever you need support. And even then I get that same email. We know you're on rapid support, but I'll still take a few days to get it because I had to do the same thing with Apple. People were telling me I can't find your
yeah.
music on there, or they had my music split up between other guys with the same name,
Hmm.
or they would look for me and it was my music and someone else's, and I was like, "No, we got to
Yeah, I
get
think the
this
streaming
there."
game was when I first came back in 2024. Like I spent a whole year remastering and re-releasing all my old projects that weren't online. So some mixtapes I had never put on Apple and Spotify, and so that was their first time even being there. A lot of the albums I remastered, added a few songs, and you know, I think it was crazy because there, like when I left and I came back, like there was so many different wrong music on my page from all these Mavs. And that was a big page, it
Yeah,
had like 800, 1,000 followers and stuff. But what I had to wind up doing is just starting over. I said at the beginning, I was like, you know what? Take that fucking page. You know what I'm saying? Someone had already claimed it anyways at that point, so I couldn't claim it anyways. But all my music was there, so I had to start everything over. I started a new Spotify, I started a new Apple Music, I started a new everything, and then said, okay, everything come to this page. So now I finally got all my albums on one Mav. It's rebuilding, so I'm not at the top Mav anymore. So you had to like, I'm not even the
Yeah.
top Mav. I'm not even the best Mav. Like that's crazy, right? It's like what the fuck.
Yeah, and
Anyways,
it's true, man. You have to like it's a different challenge now for the independent artists from back when we started. When we started, you're talking about back then, the challenge was, you just had to have the time and make the time and energy to get out there and
yeah, hit them
meet
CDs in
people
the
and
streets.
yeah. Yeah,
It was all about
now
CDs in the streets.
exactly. And now the new challenge is okay, I got to go on iHeart now and contact iHeart because my songs are all over the place. You know what I mean? And
So
then
that
you
was the
got to
first
deal with that stuff.
challenge. And then the other challenge is all these companies changing their rules, right? Spotify won't pay you anything unless you get 1,000 plays on that song. So
Yeah.
now it's like, okay, I'm only going to concentrate on the songs that have 1,000 plays and then promote those. And so you have to change everything. You change the way you promote. I'm going to promote other shit instead. I'll promote an older song more than I'll promote some newer songs because they're not paying yet because they're not at
Yeah.
1,000 views. So, anyways, with that being said, one thing I noticed was last month I'm starting to make more in Apple Music than I am on Spotify, and that wasn't
Okay.
like that. A few years ago, they was actually paying some stuff out. So like and YouTube too, YouTube and Apple, I make more than Spotify now. So it's like I don't love Spotify as much, And when I listen to music, I mean I have it's like what I don't know. So someone in our family pays for a whole plan, and I'm just one of the members, so I got it free. But I got Apple Music. You know what I'm saying? I'm Apple Music all day.
Uh,
So Apple Music will pay you like $1 for every 100 listens. So I'd rather have you know the stats may
yeah.
look less on Apple Music, but if I'm getting paid more on Apple Music, then I'm gonna put more concentrating on Apple Music.
Yeah, you wanna
Anyways,
promote that
so the
more.
other thing is like none of these streams pay you enough. So what I did is I built my own website and I'm selling my purple EP on there directly for $4.99. So direct to consumer is what I'm concentrating on. And also like when I sell shoes, I also sell my music. So like digital hustling is the new thing, right? Digital hustling. So I could go on a stream and sell these shoes on whatnot. And then I'll put up some of my math shirts and then, you know what I'm saying? I'll sling them for like 30 bucks. So I'm going on to like merch, right? I'm transitioning
Yeah.
to merch. And digital sales. Once I organize myself, okay, cool. And then, obviously I knew the money wasn't going to come in and pay all my bills, but at least I know it's all there. And once I stop making music, it's all there. You know what I'm saying? Like people can
Yeah.
listen to me forever. And like I get new fans like that are like, damn, I just listened to your album for 2005. You was cold back then, like they had never listened to it before. And I never
Yeah.
put that album online because it was so old and the mixes were so bad. And it was like it was just,
Yeah.
2005. I don't remember what we were recording. I'm probably acid, maybe some, and we probably had a mic that probably it was like $75. I don't know, whatever was available at
Yeah.
the time. We was doing our best. We was definitely doing our best. But the
You
problem
ever
with
threw
that first
up in
album, mic
somebody's closet
advancement.
or something, man? You got somebody's closet trying to record this, wondering why your sound is so bad. I remember
Oh
those
yeah, I
days,
recorded
man.
some of
I
my
remember
first.
those days.
I definitely, I definitely took out a credit card at Best Buy, bought all the equipment, and never paid that credit card bill once. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Hey, thanks Best Buy. Shout out to Best Buy for providing my first
Oh,
studio
yeah.
equipment. That was in
Oh,
AV.
man. Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
oh hell no. Anyways, so some of those songs were recorded on that studio, and then we finally got a real studio. Nonetheless, my first album, like the computer crashed and they lost everything, and I
Yeah.
had to just put out the mixes as is, so we never got a chance to fully mix the album too. So that was another problem that happened with that album. But I was even signed to a label when I started that album, and then dropped. The label kind of broke apart. I wasn't dropped. I was just the label broke apart, and then so then I wanted to put the album on my own. You know what I'm saying? Like so that first album had so many problems, but Rainy Days came off of that album. I wrote that song in like 2004. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
and Rainy Days was like I've always been a rapper that just will talk about more. I want to talk about everything. You know what I'm saying? I want to touch topics that I believe in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Rainy Days is one of my favorites. I actually have a hard copy of Independent Hustling, man. That and 102 bars, bro. When you did that one I still listen to. Because that one is
Yeah.
like you were talking about when you were telling me at the start of the show about your your battle rapping or the stuff when you were just freestyling stuff, man. That's the vibe I get from that. From that 102 bars to me, it's like
Yeah, that
this,
was like the
this is hip
apex
hop.
of that. Yeah, for
Yeah,
me,
and to
that
me,
was
this is hip hop. I loved it, but I still love it. I still love it.
yeah. I think that's one of my most. That's one of the tracks that exhibited my skills the most when it comes to like battle rap. And so that was like a battle rap song. It was like,
Yeah,
and it was one of those songs that I did write like maybe 400 bars for, and I just kept the best.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And it was just, it was like little schemes, little 4 bar schemes, 2 bar schemes, and then you just put it together and make it a song. So yeah, man, that was one of my favorite songs for sure. And I think that I've always been someone who's like, I'm either gonna make like a commercial song or I'm gonna make like an underground song. Like I got two styles, you know what I'm saying? Like it's either real underground or it's gonna be commercial. So like sometimes the scenes would certain scenes would reject me, you know what I'm saying? Like the underground scene doesn't I mean, this is I'm sure everyone has rejection feelings from every crew, but like I felt like the underground is like, damn, you're over here making like party till the sunrise though. You're not underground enough for us, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Or when I did Me Against the World, it was like country rap back in 2010, which they wasn't really making too much of back then. So
yeah.
it was kind of like, oh, okay, well then you're more of a commercial rapper than you are underground rapper, but you can never take away, 102 bars, you know what I'm saying? It's still out there, you know. So I just think that I have multiple skills that sometimes help me and sometimes hurt me, because like I said, some people won't book me because they're like, oh damn, you can't open up for Common because you have a lot of commercial songs, but they don't know I got 102 bars, or you know what I'm saying, like.
Yeah.
So but that's who I am, and you'll hear that this year. You heard that Purple EP's underground. Mav of Metal is not underground. It's more like, damn, I can't. I mean, it's like it is commercial and spiritual, and damn, it's a little bit of everything.
A lot of mainstream, more than
But I
mainstream.
have
Right.
Mav is Back is a commercial album, like all commercial. Like I'm like, damn, I got to sneak a few underground songs in here to like break it
Yeah.
up. But so I got a whole commercial album coming. You know what I'm saying? Like I got Young Drummer Boy on it. I got another song with Do or Die on it. I got I got a bunch of cool little features on there. And so like I have, and then I'm gonna put out a whole song about smoking weed, my weed smoking album. So anyways, I got all these projects in the work that are like different like genres of rap, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Hip hop,
Yeah.
commercial, you know. I
Yeah.
don't even know
I
what to
hear you.
describe the Mav and Metal album. It's commercial, but it's also like
Is there something in between?
grimy. It's
Yeah.
like
Something in
grimy, but
between.
like not not East Coast grimy, but it's
Right.
different. You'll hear it.
All right. All right. We're looking forward to it, man. So, hey, before I let you go, man, I got a couple of things I got to ask you here. So now you talked about your favorite group, of course, Wu Tang. Give me it can be your favorite or just who you think are the top guys. And I always feel like based on the usual people, there's never really a wrong answer here. It's a lot of people's opinion. Give me your
Yeah.
top three rap artists of all time. It could be based on lyricism, it could be based on impact, whatever you think. Give
Just
me your
top
top
three
three.
rap. I mean, I'm old school, so all my top three rappers are gonna be from the '90s. So
Hmm.
I still will put like a Tupac because I listened to him the most growing up,
Yeah,
just flat out, just Tupac. Nas, I probably listened to him the second most, and then for third, I'm just gonna go. Damn, there's so many people that I could put third. That's crazy.
yeah.
I could put
I feel like Pac is my favorite. That's my favorite
yeah.
all time.
Pac,
So
Nas. I know they beef, but I got a crazy story about that. Anyways, so and then third, I'm gonna go with I'll just go with Jay-Z just because like he's the ultimate lyricist, but he's also very real commercial too. So I like that.
yeah, there's been a lot of guys that have a different type of impact, man. When you look at, like Rakim to me is probably my top rhyme writer. I mean, the way he was writing, nobody was doing it back then. And there's still cats today that try to emulate the way he wrote, and they can't do it. And I read his book, I'm actually I'm reading it for the second time right now to see the way he Like his writing process, it's insane. And then you look at other guys that have an impact in a different way, like LL Cool J. LL Cool J, first of all, his longevity is insane. To
Yeah.
think that the guy's still out there doing it, but now he's got Rock the Bells radio on Sirius, which I listen to every day. They just had the Rock the Bells Festival out there. And then, of course, what he's done in movies, acting, everything like that. Then you look at guys like Ice Cube, you know what I mean? And what he was to writing out of the West Coast, but the impact he had, he kind of opened up the door for guys to get into movies, rappers and stuff. And then you look at, we talked about Kendrick. I mean, this dude's over here winning Pulitzer prizes and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I feel like when that's why I said when I asked you, it's really no wrong answer because people have different reasons for putting certain artists up top, unless you're just asking them, hey, who's the best lyricist of all time? And then that's when the arguments really kick in because then you got people talking about Biggie, you got people talking about Nas, and then some of the guys that
Eminem.
go even, yeah, Eminem is another one, man.
Yeah.
Eminem is another one, and then you
Cold.
can go back to guys from back in the day, you know. So that's one of those arguments that I like to have with people when we're sitting in a group or something. And I'm like, hey, who's the best lyricist of all time? And then you just see everybody just start arguing about it. And it gets funny to me sometimes, man. But so you
Nah, there's
talked
some
about,
cold ones though for sure.
yeah, yeah, definitely. So you said you made clear Wu-Tang was your top favorite group. Give me two more.
Like I said, NWA. And then third, um, like third that I listen to the most, like, cause I'm like, when you ask these personal questions, I think to myself, like, who did I just listen to the most? Like, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? I definitely
yeah.
listen to Wu Tang the most. I definitely listen to NWA the second most. And then for groups, I mean, third most, um, I'm not from the generation of like Run DMC or Beastie Boys. That was a little bit before my time. Even Public Enemy and all them. That was a little bit before my time. So I started listening to groups around, Mob Deep era,
Mhm.
Wu Tang era, Gangstar and stuff
Oh,
like that. So those
yeah,
are more of my
Gangstar
type of guys.
definitely.
So
Yeah.
and then even like West Coast, I'll throw in a West Coast group, another one, and I listen to a lot of DPG, man. I used to love Dog Food, the album.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I mean not Rakim, but Corrupt and Daz and all them fools and Snoop. So I'll just throw that out there for now.
I love. I came up on West Coast too, man. Like, and I feel one of my favorite artists, producer, rappers ever. That I feel they're finally starting to give him his respect is DJ Quick, and I feel like a lot of people that weren't around back then like now don't understand just how dope DJ Quick really was, how many songs and hits he had and albums he had his hands on. Like he did a lot of producing on All Eyes on Me. A lot of people don't realize that executive producing. A lot of different things that guys like him did. There's also guys out from out on the West Coast. One of my favorite groups is Jurassic 5. I just feel there's so much out there, man, that like you said, you have to kind of narrow it down to okay, what was I listening to? Because you could just start naming
Yeah.
groups and not be wrong.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I could tell you I was listening to Gangstar a lot. I was listening to Roots a lot. I was listening to
What about Outkast?
EPMD. EPMD had a phase where I like some of their newer music. I like Rakim and
Eric
wow,
B.
Eric
Yeah,
B.
Eric
Wow,
B.
I couldn't even
Yeah.
think. You know what I'm saying? Ghetto Boy UGK. I used to bump the mess out of some UGK. I still do. Like I'll still bump, everything UGK from knocking doors down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To like even I got a pocket full of stones. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
so, like I love
We can't
all
forget
hip
can't forget
hop. I
about
think
Bone Thugs either, man. Bone
Bone
did their
Thugs,
thing
Do or
too. Yeah.
Die. Like I said, man, those guys, when those guys came out, like I was living in Chicago and I remember like my homie was he had went to Cleveland for the summer and he came back with like the tape of Bone Thugs. And this was before it was big, before it got played on the radio a lot. And man, I just that Creeping on the Come Up album was so fire, bro. It
Oh
was so
man,
crazy.
that when I remember when Doug is Rugged's Bone dropped, that everything from that beat to the lyrics was just so hard.
That was so
Like
hard,
you,
bro.
man, when that hit the streets, man, everybody we had that just rewind that. We had cassettes, bro. We had the Alpine
Exactly.
system going, rewind it, rewind it, rewind it. Everybody was listening to it, man, because when that hit the streets, it was insane. It was crazy. Yeah.
And in Chicago when Twisted came out and Do or Die, and when Pope Pimpin', just the song Pope Pimpin' before Twisted like came out
Yeah.
with Adrenaline Rush, like Pope Pimpin' was such a big song, and it was just like it changed. It made me like, damn, there's this whole new era of hip hop, because at that point it was like the Brat was like the biggest rapper in
Yeah.
Chicago, which is cool. You know what I'm saying? I don't get me wrong, I got love for the Brat always.
Yeah.
60644, whatever, you know, she would always rep the West Side. So shout out to the Brat, but like once that it was a different style. It was like
Different.
gangster
Yeah.
rap in Chicago. Like, what the hell is this? You know what I'm saying? Player rap in
Yeah.
Chicago. Like, it was like it just made my world like different. You know what I'm saying? So like these times and these eras were just crazy. And then but yeah, man, I just always been a fan of music, man, like my whole life. Like, damn, man, like you know, like you said, DJ Quick gets wrecked. I think DJ Quick has always done solid, and people loved him out here, at least in Arizona. I know he's had some beefs out here, but like nonetheless, we still bump DJ Quick, and I mean, he produced on Tupac's album. I think some of his most epic things happened in his past, but I
Yeah.
mean, I think that he's still relevant and can still pack a show. He still headlines like all the time out here. You know,
Mhm.
anytime he comes to a West Coast fest, he's usually one or two, on that list,
Yeah. Yeah. For sure, man. For sure. All right, man. So do me a favor. Now, I checked with you last night. Let everybody know where they can find you, the socials. Now you did tell me that this at Arizona_Mav, that's the same handle on all your socials, right?
Yeah, that's how you hit me up on the Instagram if you need any, like, you want to book for verses or shows or all that. On Twitter, it's that. I'm not really on Twitter too much, but hey, hit me up there, add me. And then on TikTok, it's Arizona_Mav too. And I want to say maybe even on YouTube, it's Arizona_Mav. So, add me
Okay.
on those. The number one place, like I said, we're trying to do more direct to consumer. So you can listen to every single song I've ever put out on azmav.com.
Now,
And you can buy
can we get merch
every
there? Yeah.
album,
All right. Go ahead.
every album digitally, $4.99. I got shirts, I got like you said, you bought CDs. With the purple EP, I did flash drives, purple flash drives. So
Oh,
you could cop
okay.
that purple EP for $10. If you want a physical copy, it comes with like some cool little extras. So AZ Mav is what I'm promoting the most. But obviously I'm on social media all day, just fucking around, just having a good time. So add me there
Oh,
too.
there you go, man. Y'all go on, check it out, man. Check out the music. Hey, if you've got Apple, stream his stuff on Apple first. All right. If you've got Apple and Spotify, go to Apple and y'all, because I'm gonna make sure that my boy here gets his rightful due when it comes to royalties. You know what
Yes,
I'm saying?
sir.
So, Mav, any final thoughts, man? Anything you want to say out there to the fans, to potential fans that are just getting to know you with this show? Maybe to some of the up and coming MCs now that are coming up, and we're kind of looking back and remembering when we were starting out. Any kind of words you want to put out there?
Yeah, man. You got to put in the work. If you want results, you got to put in the work. Nowadays the work's a little different, right? But when I was coming up, we was hitting the swap meets, we was out with CDs. But the work now is more like you got to get quality recordings and quality videos and make art. You know what I'm saying? And I know or whatever you got to do to go viral to get your songs played, do it. You know what I'm saying? But you got to put in work to do that. Sometimes it won't just, oh, I made a hit. Oh, I put out one video. Oh, nobody cares. Okay, well, you got to put that same song out multiple ways. You got to put out like 7 different versions of the same video, the same song. You got to just promote things uh differently now, and you got to just be consistent. And that's my advice to the young people: just be consistent. And art comes in phases, and don't forget that, man. Don't let don't I'm older, you know what I'm saying, but don't let that slow you down. You could
Yeah,
quit for now, but if you ever get the itch to make music, art is art. When you want to make art, make it. So that's to my older homies that I sometimes think of coming back. Come back. You know what I'm saying? Art is art.
right.
You don't have to live your whole life for music anymore. You can still make art though.
That's it.
So that's my advice to the OGs and my advice to the young homies. I thank all y'all for showing me love. Like you said, Apple Music, well, however you check out my music, man, I appreciate it. And also check me out, like all my videos on Instagram.
Yeah, yeah. And we're gonna do, man. We're gonna try and get, when you and Middle Metal drop that album, man. We'll try and bring y'all out here. you know,
Yeah,
to New
man, that'll be
Mexico,
dope.
man. You know, because it's time. I think we got to get a little bit more of this. You know, New Mexico, Arizona linking up a little bit, man, and you know, really show the Southwest what we can do when we're working together, man. Straight up, man. But
100%,
that's
100%.
it. That's it. So, all right, y'all. I'm about to let my boy get up out of here, man. Go enjoy the rest of this Sunday. But you know, I always take every episode, man, and I base my message at the end based on the story that was told with my guest. In this case, it is you, man. Love to sit here and just chop it up with you about music, hip hop, you know, moving to the Southwest, everything. And I love what you said, man, about you know, to the older cats, you know, that are coming out because you know, like you and me, we're back now. We got the urge again.
We're back.
And there's I'm hoping a lot of cats, you know, that were doing it with us back in the day get you know, inspired to come back, man, straight up. And what
Come back, homies.
that's it. Come back. The game needs you, man. But you know, and I always
Even
tell
if it's
people,
for a
man,
song, you know,
that's it.
sometimes, hey, fuck
That's
it.
it.
You know, art is
It's
art.
okay. It's okay to
Never
go and
stop
do other
creating.
things, man. It's okay to do other
It
things
is.
if you want to, you know.
Hey,
Go and do something else if
be
you
a
want.
good father first, and
That's
then
it.
come back.
That's it. Fatherhood is everything. Fatherhood is everything. And as far as your creativity, y'all, you know, you heard Mav's story today, you know, and his journey and what he's done, man, all the years of grinding, the decades of grinding to be still here doing it. It's much respect. And I always tell everybody it's okay to go off the grid for a little while. Do something different than what you're used to doing. You know what I mean? But as long as you throw it at 100%, you give 100%, and you don't put it to where I don't care what anybody else thinks, I'm going to do it my way, it's okay to go off the grid. But don't you ever get off your grind, y'all. Like Matt just said, you got to grind no matter what. You got to put in the work because never get off your grind because when you're on your grind, that's exactly where you shine. That's where you shine the brightest, y'all. I am Gabe Garcia. This is the homie Mav, y'all. Hey, from New Mexico to Arizona, Southwest, it's all love, baby. Mav, thank you so much for being on Off the Grid this week, brother. Appreciate
Thank you for having me out, Gabe. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, I appreciate it. And now it's time to go off the grid, baby.
That's it. Hey, y'all go enjoy the rest of your Sunday, man. We're off the grid, y'all. It's all one love. Peace.
Let's go.
If you're down, leave your drama behind and let's roll. The world is getting lost in my feel-good flow. Oh! Need that music medication, that's my specialty though. 5-7